Today we're going to be looking at a lot of running backs. We're going to be looking at a lot of sleepers for 2024 fantasy leagues. We're going to start with the middle rounds, and we're going to work our way pretty much to the waiver wire, to the back end of drafts, and it's just going to be an a la carte buffet of sleeper running backs that you may want to draft, that you may want to know about come draft season for your fantasy leagues. But before we dig in, you need to click that subscribe button right now, because we're talking about these players every day. We're talking about strategies every day. I'm helping you with the waiver wire. We're finding those late round gems. We are working hard to help you win your league. Click that button. Stop missing out. Today, we're looking at like 22 running backs, seeing whether or not you want them to be your sleeper or not in your fantasy league. But the first one that we're going to look at today, Jonathan Brooks, round 8 ADP. Remember, I said we're going to start from the middle and we're going to work our way back. Jonathan Brooks has a lot of upside. First rookie drafted in this year's draft. A lot of pop. Good yards after contact per attempt. Coming back from an ACL, might start the season on the pup. And if he does and misses a few weeks to start the season, that just means you're going to draft him at a discount, probably round 8 or later in your actual redraft league, considering this is underdog ADP, and that's really what we all have to go off of right now, considering the sample size of drafts that we're looking at here. But Jonathan Brooks has a lot of pop. He has some speed. He has some wiggle. And he could be that player that goes off in the middle of the season that we're not expecting. James Conner, RB26, round 8 draft capital, a forgotten running back, being drafted as an RB3, but when healthy on the field, he can be productive. Look at the chart down here. We're finishing the season last year with 5 games at RB1 production. Had RB1 production in week 3 against the Cowboys. That's a tough defense to do that against. James Conner is very good at the discount. Zach Moss, RB27, round 8 draft capital per ADP, was productive with the Colts last year. The Bengals moved the ball. He's very efficient. He's very dependable. The Bengals are very excited to have him. Look for him to get touches early. Look for him to be the between the tackles grinder. Tyjae Spears, we're into round 9 now. RB31 off the board. We got a couple RB1 weeks. Derrick Henry's gone. We got Tony Pollard here now, but Tyjae Spears gets work in the passing game. He's good between the tackles. He does have some upside. He has very good vision and is very good in the open field. I would not be surprised if he has a good run this season. Javonte Williams. We talk about him a lot because the market is souring on him. In redraft and underdog, round 10 draft capital, his dynasty value is dropping, but discounts are discounts and production is production. Even in a stagnant offense, if he gives you something close to what he did last year with some pop-off weeks and some low games, you'll gladly take that at the running back position in double-digit rounds. Devin Singletary, round 10, and he went off with Houston. Now we're with the Giants. He's looking to be the team's top back in that backfield, looking to get most of the work there, and they like him because he's dependable. One of the most dependable running backs in the league when it comes to just pure skill set. Used as the pass catcher, used in pass protection, good between the tackles, good outside the tackles, just a stout running back. He should get opportunity and is very cheap at round 10 draft capital. Gus Edwards, another cheap running back, should be the hoss for the Chargers as long as he's healthy. With Baltimore last year, you saw 5 RB1 weeks. That's what you want to look at, those top end weeks. The down games were down, but still, we're with the Chargers. We got Justin Herbert. We should be the lead back going in. J.K. Dobbins, Kamadi Vidal is the other running backs you may want to look at in this backfield. Vidal, though, RB48 off the board. Size-adjusted athleticism for days, has pop off the step. He's a guy that could come out of nowhere in the middle of the season if the running backs get hurt and be a guy that's a trendy flyer off the waiver wire. Kendre Miller, though, RB42 off the board, round 10 draft capital per underdog. Might be cheaper in your home league drafts, but has a lot of pop. Has a lot of upside due to his size-adjusted speed. If he finds daylight, he could house it. He's good in the passing game. We saw that last year with the Saints catching a few deep targets. Alvin Kamara is that dude, But running backs are running backs. Running backs get hurt, and you always want that top-end insurance policy. Blake Corum, though, RB36, round 11 ADP. Kyren Williams will probably get too many touches again. Kyren Williams got drafted in insurance policy, and the insurance policy will probably come in sooner than later whenever that happens because it's the running back position. You're looking at a guy that's very comparable to like a Kyren Williams because he's a lunch pail running back. He's good at all phases. He's very dependable. That's what the Rams wanted. Very productive. In 2022-2023, he was ramping up from a knee injury. RB36 off the board, round 11 draft capital. A cheap upside rookie running back in a good offense that you may want to take a look at. Ezekiel Elliott, the old hoss, round 11 here. But we're back with Dallas. He's dependable. He's about as dependable of a running back you're going to get. Good in pass protection, good between the tackles. I don't look for them to want to pound it out with Zeke, but guess what? There's going to be moments where he just gets way more touches than you realize he got. That's just going to happen. That's going to happen in flurries. Round 11 draft capital on your team is pretty solid for a running back like this. Look for him to get you a few productive weeks this year, maybe more, especially if he gets touches around the goal line. Austin Eckler, running back 40 off the board. And what if last year was a blip? What if he's not really dust and he gets a lot of targets out of the backfield as a good check down option? Curtis Samuel's gone. I get it, they drafted McCaffrey, but Austin Eckler's pretty good in the passing game. What if we're looking sharp with the Commanders here? What if? It's just round 11 draft capital. You're taking shots at running backs anyways. What if he clicks here? Marshawn Lloyd, RB45, round 12 draft capital. Think about it this way. We got a good blend of speed and size here. Could be the cuff to Josh Jacobs or a 1B back who gets enough touches to be productive. Something to pay attention to during training camp. Jaleel McLaughlin, RB47 off the board, round 13 price tag as you see down there in the chart. Can be productive. Samaje Perine's probably gone. It's a battle between him and Javonte Williams, according to the media. That could be false, but probably one of those running backs are going to be gone. They also say Javonte Williams is fighting for a starting job. Who do you think he's really fighting with? It's probably this guy right here. This guy right here is probably going to fight for more touches this year. Sean Payton talks glowingly about him in the media whenever he gets the opportunity. He was doing it in the spring. Look for him at this cheap price tag, round 13. Jalen Wright, if you're looking for upside, you can't catch more upside than 4.3 speed at 210 pounds on one of the fastest offenses in the NFL. And if given the opportunity, he could blow up. If there's injuries in his backfield, he could blow up. Ray Davis is on a team here where he's looking to be the 1B back to James Cook. They wanted a 1B back very bad last year. They brought in the ghost of Leonard Fournette. Fatnet was back there. We were watching him every week, seeing if he was ever going to get touches. That wasn't going to happen. Ray Davis is probably going to step in and get some workload. And it might be sooner than expected, but at this price tag, last pick of your draft in some of your leagues that are a little bit more shallow, maybe this is a running back you want to look at. Antonio Gibson, round 14, catches the ball out of the backfield. We got top-tier athleticism at the running back position. Very good in open space. Might get some check downs here and there. Don't expect him to go off. But as a 1B cuff, whatever you want to call it, to Stevenson, he could be a guy that lights a fire here, and we're chasing him off the waiver wire because he catches passes out of the backfield, has good speed to burn, and they may try to utilize that. Pay attention to him during training camp. Pay attention to him in season. But I'm going to have the waiver wire videos every day during the season, so you're going to know about these running backs and their targets, air yards, and everything else. Chuba Hubbard. So Jonathan Brooks, we talked about him first thing in this video, but what if he starts on the pup? What if there's a ramp-up time? Chuba's probably going to get some workload to start off the season and then probably be a satellite back to Brooks going forward. That being said, you might catch some workload, some production there. Look at the back end of the season when they finally gave it to him fully. He can be productive and usable in fantasy football when given the workload, and that's something you may want to look at with one of your last picks of your draft. Audric Estime, a good pounder running back from Notre Dame, with great size. He's going to steal Samaje Perine's job. That's probably what's going to happen. And he might steal Javonte Williams' job throughout the season. He's good between the tackles. He moves laterally very well. Size adjust athleticism. It's kind of there because we got a lot of size. We got a good lateral ability. The speed's there in short chunks, especially when you play the game in 10 to 20 yard chunks. He can definitely do that, and he can pull away. He was one of the top running backs in all college football last year in runs of over 10 yards or more. That being said, Audric Esme is a sneaky running back prospect here that could leak out some production for your fantasy team. Deonta Foreman's the man. He is that guy that if Nick Chubb can't go, might be a sneaky play. Might be a guy we're picking up off waivers because he always has a week or two that he just somehow becomes productive. And that's just what Deonta Foreman is. Deneric Prince, though. No ADP. Nobody's drafting him. But he needs to be on your radar. One, he's on the Chiefs. One, he's seeing touches in training camp early. Two, tremendous size adjusted athleticism. And then Kenny McIntosh. I talk about him every time we got to talk about sleepers. This is very deep for redraft. But also, you also want to think about Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, because if he's healthy now, because he was not healthy last season, and he's good to go, this guy's good at catching passes out of the backfield. The coaching staff was ranting and raving about him. He's decent between the tackles. Big-time prospect coming out of high school. Looked good throughout his career at Georgia. We thought he was going to be a mid-round pick, but that was a very stacked running back class. And just like this year's wide receiver class that was very deep with talent, a few of them are going to drop. A lot of them dropped because they were running backs in 2023. He's got some talent. Watch him in training camp because two things could happen. He could get enough touches that it impacts Walker and Charbonnet, or he could have a run somewhere down the line middle of the season. You might be picking him up off waivers. He's a guy, he's a name to pay attention to. Not saying he's breaking out, but he's a name to pay attention to because he's very good in the passing game. And when you're looking at running backs off waivers, that could be gems. You want to look at guys that can catch passes out of the backfield, especially if you're playing in PPR. You want to look at size adjusted athleticism. Do they have the speed and size to be dangerous in the open field? And then obviously, we're watching the situations of those backfields because those are going to turn and burn by the week as we get started in the season, as these starting running backs start to get hurt. And now we got to start looking at the backup running backs. Let me know who you're looking at as a sleeper at running back right now in your leagues. Did we go too deep? Did we go too shallow? Want to hear about that? Make sure to hit that subscribe button on the way out. Want to thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video.